My name's Ethan. I'm 28 and I used to believe family ties meant something real. That if you showed up, poured in your time, your cash, your heart, people would notice. That it would count. But this past Easter showed me how wrong I was. I'm the eldest by a wide margin. My younger brother, Jake, is 22. My dad remarried when I was 16, shortly after my mom's death. Typing that still hurts. Her passing broke everything, and while I tried to hold it together, Dad moved on too fast. Within a year, he was with a woman named Carol. Yes, with a C, because why not? And by the time I finished high school, she was settling into the home Mom had made ours. It stopped feeling like a family after that, more like a forced arrangement that tilted heavily toward Carol and Jake. I tried hard at first. I helped Jake with his assignments, bought groceries, even took a part-time job during college to chip in. Carol was always polite, but it was that fake, surface-level kindness, like smiling at a waiter without looking at them. Dad, he just drifted away. He skipped my concerts, canceled our movie nights, and ditched the father-son camping trips we used to take every spring. He said he was busy, but he wasn't. He just stopped caring. I left home at 20, tired of feeling like an outsider in my own house, but I didn't cut them off. I still showed up for birthdays, sent gifts, called every Sunday like it was routine. I kept hoping, maybe this time they'll see me, maybe it'll feel right again. Spoiler, it never did. This year, Carol planned a big Easter family gathering. She announced it in our group chat like it was some grand event. Backyard egg hunt, catered food, family vibes. I sighed but agreed to come, mostly because Jake asked me directly. I thought, why not? I had the day free and maybe it'd be a chance to reconnect. Yet every time I walk into that house, I hope it'll feel like home again. The day started fine. Carol handed out tasks like she was running a business. Ethan, handle the backyard, set up the egg hunt, wipe down the tables, stock the cooler with juice boxes, and don't forget the plastic forks. No please, no thanks, just orders. I didn't argue. I nodded and got to work. It's second nature now. I cleaned the yard, set up the eggs, arranged tablecloths, even fixed wobbly chairs. When the caterer called to say they forgot the vegetarian dish, I ran to the store, paid $74.63 out of my own pocket. No one paid me back, by the way. By 3 p.m., guests started arriving, cousins, in-laws, mostly Carol's family. I was the only one in a stained button-up, sweaty from work. Everyone else looked fresh, unbothered. Carol's sister greeted me like I was staff. "Oh, you must be the one setting it all up. Great job." Her tone was so fake I wanted to laugh and yell at once. My own uncle didn't recognize me at first. Jake gave me a quick hug, muttered, "Good to see you, man," then vanished with his girlfriend. As the day went on, I noticed something. No one had saved me a seat at any table. I told myself it was a mistake, that someone would notice. But as more people arrived, every chair filled up. I stood there holding a warm plastic cup of lemonade, forcing a smile. When Carol announced dinner, everyone lined up for the buffet, chatting and laughing. I hovered near the table where I'd arranged the forks. Then it happened. I was fixing a napkin holder when Dad's voice cut through, sharp and loud enough for nearby conversations to pause. "Ethan," he said, not meeting my eyes, "you're just a visitor here now, don't overstep." It felt like a punch to the gut. I blinked, thinking I'd misheard. But then Carol, arms crossed beside him, nodded. "This isn't your place to take charge," she said, her smug smile like she'd been waiting to say it forever. I looked at Jake, my little brother, the kid who used to trail me like a puppy. He met my gaze and looked away, not a word. I didn't cry or shout. I just stood there, clutching that stupid cup, realizing I was the only one in that yard who felt like a stranger in my own family. I walked inside, silent, grabbed my bag from near the front door and started unplugging things. The Wi-Fi router? Mine. I'd bought it last year when theirs died and no one replaced it. The backyard speakers. Also mine, lent for Jake's graduation and never returned. The extra generator keeping the food warm, I'd bought it during a winter storm and left it at Dad's just in case. I unplugged it and carried it to my car like it was weightless. Something in me switched off. Years of bending over backwards, staying quiet, swallowing pain, it all dissolved, and I wasn't done. I walked to my car calmly, like I wasn't burning inside, like I hadn't just been told in front of everyone that I didn't belong. I refused to cry, not for them, not anymore. As I loaded my stuff, I saw Jake watching from the kitchen window. He didn't come out, didn't say a word, just stared. I almost laughed. Maybe he was shocked I didn't just slip away quietly like always. Not this time. In my car, I opened my phone's notes app to a folder labeled Family Expenses. It listed everything they'd forgotten, I'd covered over the years. like the car insurance policy still in my name. Dad had crashed his car a few years back, and I co-signed for the new one to get him a better rate. I paid the premiums quietly, out of guilt or habit. Or the utilities, Mom's name was still on the house when she passed, and I never removed myself as a secondary account holder. When they hit a financial rough patch last year, Carol took time off for self-care. I covered the electric bill for a few months. Those months became a year. I had all the logins, all the control. Then there was the big one. I was the guarantor for their new HVAC system. Their old unit broke during a brutal heat wave, and when the contractor needed a cosigner, guess who they called? Me. I signed without hesitation, paid the first installment to get it started. I still had the contract. So I opened the billing portal, removed my card, tried to transfer ownership, but they hadn't paid enough for it to go through, so I canceled auto pay instead. Then I logged into the electric company, paused the payment, and messaged customer service. I no longer live at this address and want to be removed as a payee. They replied quickly, saying they'd contact the primary holder. I smiled. On the insurance app, I pulled up the car policy, removed my payment method, and sent a cancellation notice for the end of the month. I screenshotted every cancellation and emailed them to Dad. Subject: since I'm just a visitor, here's what I'm no longer covering. I hit send and drove off. 5 minutes later, the calls started. Jake, then Carol, then Dad. No voicemails. I didn't answer. I got home, parked, and made a sandwich, peanut butter and jelly, crusts off like when I was a kid. I needed something familiar. An hour later, Jake texted, "Dude, what's happening?" I stared at it, then replied, "Just a visitor, remember?" No response. The next morning, I had 4 missed calls from Carol, 2 emails from Dad, 1 angry, 1 worried, and a voicemail from my aunt saying she heard things got heated and I might be overreacting. Overreacting. I planned their entire event, paid out of pocket, and was publicly told I didn't belong. But sure, I'm the issue. They underestimated me. Again, that afternoon their power went out. Jake texted, "Power's off." "Did you do this?" I waited, then replied, "Ask the family, I'm just the visitor." 2 hours later, Dad left a voicemail, his voice tight but cracking. "Ethan, we need to talk. Things got out of hand. Carol shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean it like that. You know I value what you've done. Let's talk, please." I didn't respond. I needed him to feel it, the weight of his words, the years of being ignored, the brushed-off holidays, the unanswered calls. It wasn't just Easter. It was every time I was the fixer, the one who showed up while they moved on without me. It was about the kid who watched his dad remarry too soon, who kept hoping to be seen again. Now I finally was. I waited 24 hours before calling back. Not to play games, but to clear my head. I didn't want to react emotionally like I always had. I wanted to hear what he'd say when he wasn't in control. So the next evening I called. He answered immediately. "Ethan," he said, like my name was a relief. "Thank you for calling. Look, I don't know what Carol said or how it came across." "No," I cut in, calm but firm. "You know exactly what you said. Don't act like it didn't happen." Silence. He didn't interrupt. "You said I was a visitor, in front of your wife, your son, everyone. You said I didn't belong after I spent my day and money making your event work." "Ethan, it wasn't." "It was exactly that," I said. "You made a choice. So did I," he sighed, his voice shifting to that familiar, frustrated tone like he was the reasonable one. "You're blowing this out of proportion, cutting the power, taking the speakers. You're hurting everyone over one comment." I almost laughed. "One comment? That comment was a decade of you treating me like an afterthought. It just came out this time." He went quiet. "I get it," he said softly. "Things haven't been great, but you've always been the strong one, stronger than Jake. I leaned on you because I thought you could handle it." "So you gave it to me because I could take it?" I asked. "You let Carol treat me like a servant. Let Jake coast while I carried everything. You never asked how I was, and when I stopped, I'm the one overreacting." Silence again. "That's not what I meant," he said. "It's exactly what you meant." Something settled in me, not anger, not resentment, just clarity. "Here's the truth," I said. "I'm not angry, I'm done. Done proving I belong to people who only see me when I'm useful. You want the power back, pay the bill. The car insurance, transfer it. The HVAC, that's your debt now. I'm not carrying it anymore." Silence. "You made me the visitor, Dad, so I'm leaving." I hung up before he could respond. I didn't block him or send a dramatic follow-up. I just stepped out of the role they'd given me. The next few days were quiet, tense but calm, no calls, no texts. My cousin, who still talked to me, said there was chaos after Easter. Carol blamed Jake for not stepping in. Jake blamed Carol for making it worse. Dad tried to play peacemaker, but when the AC died during a heat wave, he lost it. They paid for an emergency tech visit in cash. Turns out without the responsible one, things collapse. I focused on me. Took time off work, slept in, ate well, cleaned my apartment. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the burden of being the good son. My apartment felt like a home, not a pit stop. Dad kept trying memes, a brunch invite I declined, apology texts. We were stressed. You're still family. Don't do this. I didn't reply. Then 3 weeks later, Jake showed up at my place. He looked nervous, sweaty, like he'd been pacing. Hey, he said. I raised an eyebrow. You could have texted. Thought you wouldn't answer. I waited. I didn't know, he said. About the payments, the catering, the insurance, I didn't realize how much you did. You didn't want to know, I said. He nodded. Yeah. I got used to you handling it, thought you were fine with it. Did I look fine? He gave a small smile, looked down. No, not really. He paused. I talked to Dad, he's Dad, blaming Carol, guilting you for abandoning him. I told him he's lucky you stayed so long. That almost made me smile. I want to fix this, he said. Not for them, for us. I studied him. No arrogance, no entitled little brother vibe, just sincerity. Want to fix it? I said. Stop expecting me to do all the work. He nodded. Fair. I opened the door wider. Water, he exhaled, relieved. Yeah, that'd be great. We talked for 2 hours that night, not just about Easter, but everything. The years of imbalance, the quiet grudges, how I felt like the spare son while Dad and Carol treated Jake like a prize. He didn't dodge it. He listened. I was lazy, he admitted. It was easier to let you do it. Thought it was fine since no one told you to stop. That's the issue, I said. No one asked if it was okay, they assumed. He nodded. I'm sorry, man, I believed him. For the first time, I saw my brother, not the spoiled kid, but the one who used to sneak me snacks during finals or beg for late-night video games. I didn't say it was okay. It wasn't. But I said, thanks. That was enough. The next weeks were peaceful. I went to work, came home, watched old movies, cooked real meals. My apartment felt like mine. Dad's attempts tapered off, memes, invites, guilt trips. Carol's heartbroken. You're tearing us apart. I laughed at that one. I wasn't tearing anything apart. I just stopped holding it together. Then 2 months later, Jake called. Dad moved out, he said. Carol kicked him out. What? She found out he was behind on the HVAC payments. He kept saying it was handled, but after you pulled out, he ignored it, thought you'd cave. I sighed, of course. They got final notices, then a lien warning. Carol flipped, blamed him for everything, said you shouldn't have been responsible. Now she says that? I asked. Jake sighed. She's still Carol, but without you, they fell apart. It was never sustainable. He paused. Dad's at Uncle Rob's talking about selling the house. Wow, I said, all from one backyard comment. Jake laughed. Guess you weren't just a visitor. We kept in touch, slowly, casually. Lunch here, a visit there. He asked about my life for once. On my birthday, he showed up with a homemade cake, chocolate with raspberry filling like Mom's. Figured I owed you, he said, for all the ones you covered. Things didn't heal instantly, some scars don't, but they stopped hurting. Dad kept trying. A month later, I got a handwritten letter, no return address. Ethan, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know if I deserve it. I read your email 100 times. You were right. I relied on you too much. When you stopped, I didn't know how to cope. That's on me. I'm sorry. I hope you can remember the good times. I do. Dad. I read it, folded it, put it in a drawer, and walked away. Not angry, not satisfied, just free. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet. It's leaving. It's saying, you can't hurt me anymore. And meaning it.